Okay, so in addition to breaking each note in half by rhythmic value, so we have a whole note, then a half note, then a quarter note. So each time we break it in half, we also have this dot thing, and the dot gets us a little complicated. Let's look at a quarter note. No, let's look at a half note. Okay, so here's a half note. Oops, it's not a half note, that's a half note. Okay, so here we have a half note. Now what the half note means is how many beats? 2 beats. Remember, a half note always gets 2 beats. And a whole note gets 4 beats, right? So what if we wanted a rhythm that was 3 beats long? Here's how we would make a rhythm that's 3 beats long. We would add a dot to a whole note. This is a little confusing. So what a dot means on any rhythm, what it means is you take that rhythm, the number of beats in that rhythm, you divide it in half. So in this case, that would be, this gets 2 beats. So if we divide that in half, that's 1 beat, okay? Then you add that number onto the original value of the beat. So in other words, a dot always makes it longer. A dot makes the rhythm longer. So this was 2 beats. So we chop that in half. We think it's 1 beat. We add that to it, and now it becomes 3 beats. So this equals 3 beats, right? I know that's confusing. Let me try another one here. Let's do a quarter note, okay? So I have a quarter note. Quarter note gets how many beats? 1 beat, right? If I have a dotted quarter note, how many beats is that? It is 1.5, because we chop it in half and we get an eighth note, we get a half a beat, and then we add that to the quarter note. So basically this dot means add to that rhythm half of it again. So it always gets longer. Let's do one more. We can add a dot to anything. So let's say an eighth note. Okay, this is gonna get a little tricky now. An eighth note with a dot is what? So an eighth note gets how many beats? It gets a half a beat. Okay, so a half of a beat chopped in half is a 16th note. Okay, so we add a 16th note to an eighth note. How many beats is that? It's 3/4 of a beat. I know it's weird. The easier way to think about this one is to think of it as 3 16th notes, is what this is, because this was 2 16th notes. So an eighth note could be described as 2 16th notes. So plus a dot means now 3 16th notes. It's weird. That's how dots work. They're tricky. They're hard to get used to. This one, try not to get confused by that one. Remember these two. So a dotted half note is going to be 3 beats. A dotted quarter note is going to be 1.5 beats, right? So the dot always makes the rhythm longer, is what you need to remember.